I never believed in horror stories, not the ones people told online, not the ones on YouTube, not the ones whispered late at night. I always thought fear was something we created inside our own minds. Until last night. Last night, fear became real. It was just after midnight when I went to bed. My apartment was completely silent, no TV, no music, no voices outside, only the soft sound of rain tapping against the window. I remember thinking how peaceful it felt. I lay down, pulled the blanket over my chest, and closed my eyes. That was when I heard it. Breathing, slow, wet, unnatural, coming from directly under my bed. At first, I thought it was my own breath echoing somehow. I held my breath. The sound continued. Long inhale, short exhale. Someone else was breathing. My heart started beating so hard I could feel it in my throat. I didn't move. I didn't blink. I just listened. The breathing shifted slightly, as if whatever was under my bed had moved closer. I whispered, barely louder than my own thoughts. "Hello?" The breathing stopped instantly. The silence that followed felt heavier than the sound itself. I waited. 10 seconds, 20, 30. Then something touched my fingers. It was light, cold, barely noticeable, but it was real. I pulled my hand back and jumped out of bed, turning on the light as fast as I could. My room looked normal. No movement, no shadows, no sign of anything. I slowly knelt and looked under the bed. Nothing. Only dust, a suitcase, a pair of shoes. No one. I laughed quietly at myself. I told myself I was tired, that my mind was playing tricks on me. So I turned off the light and went back to bed. I closed my eyes again, and the breathing returned, but this time it was right beside my ear. I froze. I could feel warm air against my skin. A breath, not under the bed anymore, not far, inside my bed. A whisper followed, soft, broken, saying my name. I screamed and rolled out of bed, hitting the floor hard. When I looked up, my bed was empty. The room was empty. But my pillow had a wet mark, as if something had been breathing on it. I didn't sleep that night. I stayed in the corner of my room with the lights on until morning. When the sun finally came up, I convinced myself again that it was just a nightmare. I went to work. I drank coffee. I tried to forget. That night, I decided to face it. I wanted proof. I placed my phone on the floor, camera facing under the bed. Then I lay down and waited. The breathing started again after exactly 12 minutes. Slow, closer. My body refused to move. I could hear it clearly now. It wasn't human breathing. It was wrong. Too wet, too deep. I reached for my phone and turned on the flashlight. The beam slowly moved under the bed, and that's when I saw it. Two eyes, wide, unblinking, smiling. The eyes moved closer. A hand followed, long fingers, too many joints. Skin stretched unnaturally thin. I screamed and ran out of my apartment. I didn't stop running until I reached the street. When I looked back, the lights in my bedroom turned off by themselves. I never returned to that apartment. I moved the next day. I threw away the bed. I deleted the video. I tried to forget. But sometimes, when I lie down at night, I still hear breathing, not under my bed, but inside my walls. And now, it knows where I live. I told myself it was over, that whatever I saw under the bed was just my imagination mixed with exhaustion and fear. But something inside me knew it wasn't finished. For the next few nights, I barely slept. Every sound in my apartment felt louder. Every shadow felt closer. I kept the lights on. I pushed my bed against the wall. I blocked the space underneath with boxes. But it didn't matter, because the breathing no longer came from under the bed. It came from inside the room. One night, while lying on my side, I felt the mattress sink slightly behind me, as if someone had sat down. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. I felt warmth on the back of my neck, and then a whisper. I was always here. I jumped up and turned around. The bed was empty, but the imprint of a body was still visible on the mattress, slowly fading. That was when I realized something terrifying. Whatever it was, it didn't need to hide anymore. I started sleeping with my phone recording audio every night. At first, nothing, just my own breathing. Then one night, I heard something else. A second breath, not mine, not synchronized, out of rhythm, close. Then a voice, low, broken, whispering words I couldn't understand. The next morning, I listened to the recording again, but the voice was gone. Only silence, only my breathing, as if the recording had been edited. But I never touched it. I began to feel watched during the day, too. At work, on the street, in reflections, in glass, in mirrors. One evening, I noticed something new. Scratches on my bedroom wall right next to the bed. Long, thin, vertical, as if something had dragged its fingers there slowly. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in a chair facing the bed, holding my phone, recording, waiting. At exactly 3:17 a.m., the air in the room changed. It felt heavier, colder, like something had entered. I heard the breathing again, but now it was coming from directly in front of me. I could see the shape, not fully, just a distortion in the darkness, like a shadow that didn't belong. It slowly moved closer and closer until it stopped right in front of my face. I could finally see its outline, a head, a neck, a mouth, but no eyes, only empty darkness where eyes should be. It leaned closer and whispered, "You shouldn't have looked." I closed my eyes and screamed. When I opened them, the room was empty again. The recording on my phone was corrupted, only static, only noise, no sound of me screaming, no sound of breathing, nothing. The next day, I moved out. I didn't pack. I didn't say goodbye. I left everything behind. Now I live in a different place, different city, different bed, different walls. But last night, I heard breathing again, from inside the closet, and this time, it was laughing. I stopped telling people about what happened. Every time I tried, I could see it in their eyes. They didn't believe me. They thought I was unstable, tired, paranoid. So I learned to stay silent. But silence didn't make it go away. It made it stronger. In my new apartment, I avoided mirrors. I avoided dark rooms. I avoided sleeping without lights. But it didn't matter, because it didn't follow rules. It followed me. One night, I woke up because I couldn't breathe. It felt like something was sitting on my chest. Not heavy, just present, close, watching. I opened my eyes slowly and saw my own reflection, standing in the corner of the room, smiling. I wasn't standing. I was lying in bed. So who was that? The reflection tilted its head exactly the same way I did. And then it whispered, "You let me in." I covered my eyes. When I looked again, the corner was empty, but the feeling remained. From that night on, I stopped recognizing myself. In photos, in mirrors, in windows. Something was always slightly wrong. My smile lasted too long. My eyes didn't blink at the same time. My reflection moved before I did. I tried to ignore it. I tried to pretend it was stress. But then one morning, I found fingerprints on my mirror from the inside. That was when I understood the truth. It wasn't hiding under my bed. It wasn't in my closet. It wasn't in my walls. It was learning me. I started locking myself in my bathroom at night. It felt safer, smaller, easier to control. until I heard breathing from inside the walls again, slow, patient, waiting. I whispered, "What do you want?" And for the first time, it answered clearly, "To finish becoming you." The lights turned off, the mirror in front of me slowly fogged, and a hand pressed against it. From the other side, my own hand. I don't know how long I stayed there. I don't know how long I screamed. I don't know how I escaped. I only know one thing. I am no longer sure which one of us is telling this story, because sometimes when I listen to this recording, I hear breathing behind my voice, and it's not mine.